Welcome to Map Dojo. This map may seem very familiar to a lot of traditional FPS flat screen CSGO players. It's got a very similar design to one of the maps there, but of course it comes with its own unique flair and its own unique challenges and advantages. We're going to talk a little bit about what some of those advantages might be, particularly specific locations that you might want to try to control. What better place to start than right here? There are a variety of different areas in this particular spot that you might want to hold, but it comes with its risks. We call this area the Jeep. The Jeep spot allows you a great view and perspective all the way down the main street, all the way down to the bamboo wall at the other end. Now, the risk that you run is being very exposed yourself, which requires you to be very fast on your feet, moving around, ducking in and out, and possibly even going down the ramp and flanking around. A very good spot to hold if you want to try to get someone on the cross going to the underpass, or if you want to try to cover this area as well coming up out of the restaurant. However, it's very exposed. Don't stay here very long. Find a way to get out if necessary and relocate. Best in team-based game modes, not so great in free-for-all. Free-for-all, you definitely want to be on the move rather than sitting still, which is what this area requires of you. Anyway, Jeep location, not a bad spot. Don't stay here long. Let's move on. The next area is actually right behind the Jeep. It's the apartment. Yes, Alvo has some buildings that allow you to go inside, and Dojo is no different. As you make your way up, you're going to enter this room. We got a little anime girl there. You're going to want to come out onto the balcony. Now, again, like with any spot, it comes with its risks, but at least coming out into the balcony, you now have some visual access to the apartment balconies right over there. You got people coming out right over the overpass from around the corner that brings you to one of the main spawns at the beginning. It also gives you a nice area and viewpoint of people coming from underneath the restaurant towards the white van, and also coming from underpass. You might see some people doing this, but of course I don't recommend getting behind the door because then you limit your mobility. The only way to get here is by jumping. So don't do this unless you plan on jumping down towards the playground. And yeah, so stay here and duck into cover. But keep your ears peeled because someone is bound to come up through this door. And if they do that, you're going to want to turn, bust in, maybe peek from behind the door and catch them off guard, but you got to keep your ears peeled. Anyway, that's it for this spot. Let's move on. Alright guys, we haven't moved very far, but this spot is one of my favorite spots. It's a very dangerous spot, but I have gotten so many kills from this exact location right here. Call this the playground location or the playground holding spot, whatever you want to call it, but it's the playground. Alright, it's coming straight down from the balcony we were just at. And what's nice is you can prone up here if you want, which makes you very hard to see with people crossing here. And you're going to get audio cues. They can't see you up there, and you can watch some bullet trajectory coming from there and help your teammates peek around the corner. You can also hear them coming down the alley here. But it's a great spot here to catch them in the cross and maybe provide some suppressive cover, creep up, and get a couple people here. But this isn't like the best spot. It's a good spot. What I would recommend is being down here. Now, why do I like this? Because you got a little bit of distortion here from the fence as they come around the corners, and you're able to hide behind the slide here. You can crouch here if you want, but it kind of makes your body a little bit bigger. Rather, you can keep moving back and forth, tuck yourself in the corner, catch them coming up right here as they come up the street or coming around the corner. Of course, you're going to have your head on a swivel as they come around the corner here. Not everybody's favorite spot, but I see so many people hanging out here and holding this location because it really does cover the central area where people cross, and a lot of the engagements take place right here on Main Street. So if you can hold this down and feel very confident, be sure to take this spot, but don't stay here too long because grenades are going to come raining in from over there or over there, and someone's bound to sneak up on you from up here or through the alleyway. Now, if you really need a quick getaway, and you've been covering it here, you've been firing, and you're like, okay, everybody's dead, I need to get out. Run up the slide, get up here, you can mosey on out. Let's move on to the next spot. Alright, as you can see, we haven't moved very far, but that's because the central location is so good for getting eliminations. You really want to take advantage of this space. We started up there near the apartment, came down towards the playground. One of my favorite spots traditionally, and I've again gotten a lot of kills here as well, it's right up here on top of this little garage space. All you have to do is hop up on the barrel, the generator, and get all the way up here. Now you can hide here. This is a camper's dream. So all you have to do is peek up, fire, and drop right back down. Now the only disadvantage is that if people know you're here and you keep hitting them on the cross, they're going to throw grenades. Plus, you're going to have to keep your head on swivel from coming down from Jeep side to the white van here and from playground. But if you kill someone and you crouch and you hide, there's a good chance people are either going to miss you or they're going to forget you were there. And that's another great advantage of the spot, though, is you can very quickly get up here onto this balcony and once again relocate. So now if they're throwing grenades at the old spot, you're still in a very good position to pick them off. However, you're in a much more dangerous spot with someone right here on the balcony. So keep your eyes on a swivel and use these two areas to your advantage. Again, mobility in this game is key. So why don't we move on to another location here. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this spot right here. Yes, this is one of the primary spawn locations right here at the top of the long street near scaffolding. Using this balcony, a second floor balcony, or if you really want to get dirty, you can get up onto, well, that was the third floor. You could hang out up here on the third floor. You can get down to the second floor balcony. Either one's pretty good. You can get people in the underpass during their cross. You can get people as they come up the street here. The only disadvantage is, well, it's relatively exposed. You don't have an easy escape, but the more of a vertical advantage you have, the better in my opinion, so give this one a shot. Alright, now I know I said having a vertical advantage is important, and it's probably something you do want to take advantage of because, well, people tend to not look up when they're running around. And you might suspect, well, Wolf, what about the scaffolding? Scaffolding's nice and all. Most people don't expect you to be up here, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend scaffolding unless you're trying to get a nice snipe shot all the way towards the Jeep from the very top. Trying to cover scaffolding from the underpass is very risky, especially if there's a cross coming over there. So I don't recommend that spot necessarily, but where I find people, you know, really taking advantage of this location is actually right here behind the Jeep. You can see through the window, you can get a perspective, and from that angle all the way down there near the stairs, you're actually very hard to see because from that distance you can't see clearly enough through these windows. But this actually gives you an opportunity to, if you have the laser, blind fire even around the corner or get a nice little friendly grenade up and over, and then you're right back in cover. It's a perfect spot, but beware of the oncoming grenades. If those start heading your way, be sure to scatter. And with that being said, let's move on. Alright, again, not too far from where last we were, but I am going to point out an area that, I'll be honest, it pisses me off, but people use it and it seems to be very successful, so I'm going to bring it up and see if you want to use it too. You come to the end of the street, and yes, it's as simple as that. People tend to transition, especially if they're coming from the center street near the playground. They tend to come this way, or they might cut through the double doors here. And if you're a camper, hiding in this corner is brilliant. You have a little bit of cover of the tree, which makes it even harder to see with some lovely bamboo here. And if you get them in the cross, they're such an easy target because they're going to be looking this way. They're not going to be looking this way. That being said, this isn't the only spot. You can actually cross the street over here and give yourself a nice little spot over here as well. People tend to go prone here and catch them on the cross. Once again, very hard to see, hard to notice, but be sure you're prone. Don't be in this position or upright position. Going prone is key here. Otherwise, you're going to be an easy target. You can also peek from this side, which actually is probably a little bit smarter because you're much harder to see, and you can push yourself into this corner. You're going to piss a lot of people off with this spot, but if you're looking to get a lot of kills and be a sneaky camper, this might be a good location for you. Alright, now we've come through the underpass, which is a good spot itself to hold if you can, but there's a very good chance you're going to get flanked. Where a lot of people actually find success, or at least nowadays, is actually right here on the bamboo wall. It gives you a nice decent angle all the way down the main street, like I said, where a lot of the action takes place, and this can kind of provide you cover. As you can see, you could shoot it and it blocks the bullets, so you're going to want to use this to your advantage. Some people do go prone, particularly over here, which also makes it very hard to see. Again, make sure you pick the character model that best suits this type of play style. And you got a nice little angle coming from playground. You also have the apartment up there and also at the Jeep. But because people are moving so fast, you're going to have a quick finger. Not my favorite spot in particular, but I am finding that a lot of people are picking others off, including myself, because we're not paying attention to this wall. So best to give it a shot if you want a couple of kills, but again, like any other spot, don't stay here too long. Alright, coming from bamboo wall, we're moving towards the dojo. As cool as the dojo is, I wouldn't recommend holding this location. I'm just going to point out we got a lot of lovely beta testers here. What's going on, gentlemen and gals? I think there are some gals in here. Thank you all you beta testers for all the hard work that you do. Your work does not go unnoticed. We love you. Mwah. So then, rather than being down at the dojo, you actually want to come up to the little loft, the office space here on top of the restaurant. This is actually a great location because you can see some people cross coming up the stairs. Catch them during their cross, and you can also catch people coming out of the restaurant. And if anyone is spawning in the dojo, you're going to be very hard to see up here, so you might as well take this position and you cut off 3 different angles. Of course, people who are wise to your antics are likely going to look up here, but you're going to have a peek advantage, which, well, is something you always want. If you shoot someone and you don't want to stay in the same place, here's a good option for you without having to move very far. Hop down to this little roof here, squat down, and now you're very much hidden. You're underneath the porch that you were just at. You can even go prone to make yourself even harder to see, and you could shoot people as they cross. Again, very good spot. And if you really want to hide, there's a secret hidey spot right over here. Just drop on down, and then they're going to forget you were even here in the first place. So use the restaurant rather than the dojo, and find yourself some kills. Alright, let's move on. Alright, this is not the wisest choice, and I probably wouldn't recommend this in a free-for-all, but a team deathmatch, this could be helpful. It all depends on your playstyle and how sneaky you are and how good your shot is, but a lot of people might not realize, very similarly to how they don't realize you can climb that little ladder on the tank on top of the house in the house map, very similarly to not knowing that, people don't know you can actually get into the van. All you have to do is get up nice and close, jump, land on it, duck, and you can walk right in. You can go prone as well, but if you're wearing, obviously, any kind of the skin that stands out, you're going to be an easy target. But it's a fun little sneaky spot if no one's suspecting it, and if you want to be a creeper, give it a shot. Anyway, that's going to be it for this map overview of Dojo. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Your criticism is important, and I just want this content to be good for you. And I don't know if it's good if you're not telling me the truth. So, be sure to tell me the truth. That's going to be it for this one. I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to eat my ramen. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.